Hi, it's Pastor Jason Schmidt from Shepherd of the Hills. I have a Thursday devotion, some Thursday thoughts to share with you. And before we get going, today I wanted to give a special shout out to Mr. B and your family up in Northern California. God be with you, keep you safe, and give you a super Thursday. Wanted to start this morning by playing a little game. It's the I'm thinking of something game. We used to play that when we were kids, and then you start giving some clues. So I'm thinking of something, and chances are pretty good that at some point in time in your life, or at least in your household, you had one of these. Some of you may still have one of these, although you might not want to admit it. Or maybe it morphed or changed form. It's something completely different than what it used to be, but you probably still have one. Here's another hint. In the early 80s, a little guy named Ken, pretty famous little guy named Ken, he had one of these. There's a cartoon character, a well-known cartoon character, who had one of these. In fact, I don't think there's ever a time that he didn't have his one of these. In our house, we've had three well-known one of these. Our first one was called a bin. The second one was called a ducky. The third one was called a nuggie. Ken's, his was called a whoopee. I don't know if you saw that show, the movie, Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton, and the little guy Ken had his whoopee. Linus was the other famous little kid, and he had one. I don't know that he gave it a name. His adversary called it the stupid blanket that he carried around everywhere he went. And I wonder if Jesus may have had one of these too. We know that he was at least wrapped in swaddling clothes. And why did they do that, wrap him up in cloths? Well, because it feels good for the baby. And I think it's very practical. I loved swaddling our kids because if you don't, their arms are going all crazy and then they start fussing, but you wrap them up real tight and I think it feels good for them. Do you have one of those? Do you have a security blanket, a whoopee, a stupid blanket, a bin, a ducky, a nuggie? Do you not want to admit that you still have a whoopee, a blanket, a bin, a ducky, or a nuggie? Do you ever wonder why they work? I have one. This isn't really the real thing because I wouldn't dare take the real nuggie out of our house onto location. This is Nuggie Junior. This one comes in its backup. In case something would ever happen to the Nuggie, we have Nuggie Junior on standby. And again, back to why they work, I'm not sure, and I don't know that we want to spend too much time thinking about why they work, because then we might figure out that they don't really work. Somebody once told me, a wise man once told me, everything's okay with a Nuggie. And I think it's because they're always there. I think it's because they, for the most part, look the same every day. And they feel the same every day. They probably smell the same every day. I think it's just the fact that they're there every day. And everything is a little bit better with a Nuggie. Cold isn't so cold, is it, if you have a Nuggie? The dark isn't so dark with a Nuggie. Alone isn't so alone with a Nuggie. Scary isn't so scary if you have a Nuggie. But now here's the big question of the day. Do they really work? I would never tell anybody this, but no. Nuggies don't really work. What does a Nuggie really do for you? But we still use them, and they still get us through because everything's a little bit better. Everything's okay with a Nuggie. And you know, if we put that much stock into a Nuggie and they work, how much more so don't you think the Lord works? And remembering the Lord's promises, that He is always there for us every day. And here's the thing about the Lord, you can never lose the Lord, can you? We lost a ducky once on vacation. We left a ducky in a hotel room, and I'm not going to tell you how much I spent to have it next day airmailed to where we were because we had to have the ducky. You can never lose the Lord. Or what if it would get so cold that a Nuggie isn't keeping you warm? Or you have some big person problem in your life and a Nuggy's not really going to do anything for you. Or you are that scared that a Nuggy doesn't even make it any less scary. Or maybe you're thinking, can a Nuggy undo what you've done? Can a Nuggy give you peace with God? Nuggies can do a lot. Everything's okay with the Nuggy. How much more so with the Lord? I want to share some words with you from Psalm 139, where the psalm writer says this about the Lord. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light will become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. You know, a Nuggy can kind of do that, but the Lord really can do that. The darkness isn't so dark with the Lord. The Lord can really make light where there should only be darkness. You think about that thing that you've done, that guilt that you feel. Jesus can really change that, and he has. He changes guilt into innocence. He takes a guilty conscience and he comforts it. He wraps it up in his love. He wraps it up in his perfection. He wraps it up in the promise that he really did something about it. He really did die to pay for whatever that is that bothers you that you've done. Being scared isn't so scary with the Lord, not because it's a trick or it just works or it makes you feel better, but because the Lord really is with you wherever. Even if you go to the furthest side of the sea, the Lord is there for you because he promises. Scary isn't so scary, alone isn't so alone, confused, anxious, because the Lord is the Lord who does. The Lord is the Lord who has done and promises to do and will continue to do for you. Always. He has the power to make the dark like the light. He has the power to make things that are hard and challenging and scary not so hard, not so challenging, not so scary. Or at least he promises to be there for you, wrapping you in his love, in his promises, in the confidence that comes from him. Is everything okay with a Nuggy? I think so. Everything is okay with a Nuggy. How much more so with the Lord, who has always kept his promises, who is always there for you, who can make the dark not so dark, the scary not so scary, the guilty not so guilty, in fact, gone forever. May God wrap you up in his Son's love for you. May the Lord comfort you with his word. May the Lord put his peace in your heart, in your head, and enable you to live it in your life this week and always. To God alone be the glory for reminding us everything is okay with the Lord. Amen.